This is C.R.P.H.A. education advocate video. This will be possibly our first one today, that we've done anyway, and as well. That this one is in. This is going to be obviously involving the general base of politics, among other things. But most importantly, our youth's education. Um, in the past number of years, it has been generally a tug of war in basic politics, mostly against who can provide the better protection for the American people uh, and for this country. But obviously, the the two political parties have also had a tug of war when it came to defense, among other things, and also healthcare and whatnot, and wellness, essentially. Um, and then, right when it comes to the general base of um, our youth's education, is almost not non-existent in the face of politics. It is more than conceivable that the liberal Democrats, ever since I'd say Carter, uh, have been the dominant factor when it comes to proper etiquette when it comes to education. But thus far, the liberal Democrats have gone astray. Actually, beyond that, it's no longer about what's best for the American people and our youth in regards to the liberal socialist Democrats. It's about who can be the top dog, thereby who can be the dominant factor of the two parties. And it's been happening like that since the 1990s, and even from the beginning to moderate to late part of the millennium. In fact, it's gotten way worse to the point that the base of what's best for our youth is no longer in the picture when it comes to the general base and face of the Democrats. But it is the general base and face when it comes to the Republicans and conservative Republicans. Case in point, Trump. Trump is a strong opponent when it comes to better education for our youth. And I'm a strong supporter of Trump. I know many people think, oh, Trump is this and Trump is that, all negative shit, right? But the basic fact is that he's done more for this country than any other any other politician in both parties, essentially. Okay, he's done more positive, even after the fact that that the one before him, which was Obama, completely did the opposite of what's best for this country. Obama did everything to tear down this country in every which way possible. And that would become possible after he tore down various other aspects. This has been going on after Clinton, but when Clinton was voted out after his second term, although you only get 2 terms anyway. But once he was done, it gradually was rebuilt. Then when Obama came in, it started going down again. The basic fact is, the liberal Democrats are showing and have shown they don't give a damn about the American people. They don't give a damn about our youth's education. They don't give a damn what's best for the American people. They don't give a damn about what is good for our youth and what is more than beneficial for our youth. What is more appropriate for our youth. Basic fact is the liberal Democrats have lost complete focus on everything possible, even in the aspect of education. I being a father and a humanitarian advocate and a business advocate and a disability advocate and a health advocate and a citizen advocate and also an education advocate, I believe that our youth deserves to have the best education possible to start with when it comes to in in this video. I'm telling you straight out. I believed it even when I was doing the other videos of C.R.P.H.A. I stood strong with it all the way through, even before I became an advocate, and advocated in my own way as I have done since 2004. The liberal Democrats don't give a damn about the American people. The liberal Democrats can care less what happens to us. In case in point, Nancy Pelosi wanted a World War III. Trump diverted the ever possible World War III. No American person wants a WW3. The basic fact is that the liberal Democrats wanted to scare the American people straight. While Trump is and possibly has been in office. And with that, they would use the playing card as it was his decision to do the WW3. It wasn't ours. That was their whole fucking ploy. Nancy Pelosi knew that it would be set in such a manner that they would point the finger at Trump. In case in point, that would be going to the favor of the liberal Democrats. Even though it, with the fact that in face value, it was what the liberal Democrats wanted, which was they wanted a WW3. Trump knew that the American people didn't want a WW3. Trump knew a world war wouldn't solve shit. Hell, it didn't solve a whole lot when we came to Vietnam. And Vietnam was a government-controlled war anyways. It didn't do our troops any better either. Be that it didn't do our veterans that were in that war or government-controlled conspiracy, if you whatever many people call it. So what are the American people to do? And I know the American people have decided which one should I believe, which one should I follow, which one is really telling me the truth, which one is really for us and our true American way of life and all this other stuff, right? The basic fact is that you could easily say if neither side is for anything positive for the American people. You could easily say that. I know many people have even tried, even gone as far as actually saying that. But that doesn't make us feel any safer now, does it? That doesn't make it to where we know that our youth are any safer. That does. That makes us as parents worry about our children's future besides our own. But more importantly, when it comes to our youth, it would be logical to worry about our youth's future most of all. And I know a number of those who actually have a caring heart really worry about this country's youth's future as well. And you don't have to have children to worry about it, to have that type of a caring heart either. You don't even have to bear a child to worry about it. With the commonality, even in the state of California, that the liberal Democrats have general a general so-called authority when it comes to our educational system, um, regardless of who's the president in this country within the 4 to 8 years. The basic fact is that the liberal Democrats don't give a damn about our youth. Thereby, they don't give a damn about us. They don't give a damn about any large number of the population within this country. They used to care about our youth and our true way of life, and our safety when it came to the base when JFK, John Franklin Kennedy, was in office. Although he wasn't really a general politician per se, in the beginning, he was just essentially put in by his family in the sense that they felt that he would be the better fit to go against whoever it was. I can't remember exactly who the hell it was now, but the basic fact is that case in point, it was right. He did what he could and what he knew how to. Aside from the scantily clad things that have been said about him when it came to his personal actions. Although the same thing has been generally said towards and about Bill Clinton. The one thing is that JFK could not find one reason why not to have a war. Although I can't say it was his first choice because one, I wasn't there. I wasn't. I wasn't around then for one. But then in historical aspects, that he probably wavered many different avenues that he knew of and that he could even grasp, metaphorically especially. But ever since his assassination, though, things have been kind of mm, not so unstable, but almost totally unstable, even after Jimmy Carter. Of course, after Jimmy Carter, with starting with the high gas prices climbing, and Jimmy Carter claiming to do some or trying to do something to waver or to level the things to more of a substantial or more than substantial level and in cost effectiveness and even in base of cost effectiveness, right? For the time anyway. Um, you can't really say that they were evil as much as they are now. Things happen. I know that. Things happen that are not always in our politicians' control at times. Yes, I know. But the one thing is, it's their actions that cause it sometimes, if not most of the time. It's their actions that bring it into focus to where even where it goes to the point of affecting the American people, and the politicians are supposed to be doing things that don't affect the American people in any negative level, way, manner, and percentage, and beyond that. They're supposed to come up with ways that doesn't reach any one of the American people, including with the particular virus that's been going around currently from Japan, China, whatever, wherever the fuck else. But now a number of people that flew into California are being quarantined in San Francisco, from what I last heard. Of course, if after they've been cured or cleared of the virus, or shall we say, DOA or DO, or basically dead in general. The basic fact is that whoever had them go over there sent them out there at the wrong point in time. Not really fully aware of what was really going on overseas and why, and how it began, or why, or and how the virus came about in the overseas country. But the basic fact is that it happened. It's being dealt with to the best of what is known and what is being learned. Because even in the base of science, medical science, it's still a learning process, even while you're getting paid a good percentage of the time. If you're in a particular field and finding ways to find cures for various different things, especially overseas viruses that can basically turn into more than a plague, way worse than a plague. That also can also negatively affect our younger children that are not even able to walk yet. Those who have just began to live in this world, and the senior citizens equally as much. Because the immune system, both when you're an infant, toddler, and senior citizen to start with, it's it's not that strong. Thereby, when you become a senior citizen, it kind of gradually weakens, doesn't it? But it can be strong even with you being a senior citizen. But it all depends upon how well one takes care of themselves. And I'm not putting any judgment towards it. I'm just stating what is in general fact, really. Of course, if we had a liberal in office like Hillary Clinton, I'm sure she'd say no. Let them be free. Let them walk around in Frisco. Basically, let them infect everybody that they get in contact with. There's a possibility that she could have easily done that. Then we'd have a much huge issue. That plague would turn into a fucking thing to obliterate the human race. Luckily, it's not in that case right now, is it? Although, case in point, with Nancy Pelosi wanting a WW3, she wanted to generally, gradually, if at all, totally obliterate the human race in the sense of fear, a fear facting, a fear level aspects towards the American people, which basically shows that the liberal Democrats don't give a damn about the American people anymore because they don't feel that they're really getting any true actual benefit from defending and protecting and ben- benefiting the American people in any way and level and reasons, what have you else. When in general aspects that the forefathers who put who set we the people the U.S. Constitution in place and who also are responsible, maybe to a certain percentage, if not fully, of forming the two parties. And now people like Nancy Pelosi and her little minions and her little lapdogs, as I've called them before, are following the very same fucking shit. They don't want to do anything beneficial for the American people, and yet they claim that they're doing things for the American people when it comes to the impeachment process. When basically there's no real logical reason to impeach a president that's made this country and the economy stronger than it's ever been, including with our defenses and with the fact that the jobs have gone to the points to where they're more than available, more than widespread. In essence, at the same time, the liberal Democrats, thanks to Nancy Pelosi, have been wasting taxpayers' money on this horse shit inquiry of the impeachment when there's no real reason for impeaching him. All they want to do is fucking get rid of him and have full control in turning this country socialist along the way, if not completely, right after that. And nobody wants a socialist country, though. Because if you have your child look into our history books, the basic fact is that during Hitler's regime, before and during WW2, before the U.S. involved itself in England Germany war of WW2 to get rid of Hitler and his regime to start and to free the innocent people from harm and various other things, right? Um, the basic fact is that there were concentration camps. There was loads of negative, sinful shit going on there. That's the fucking thing that the liberals want to have happen to us in this country. They want to gradually, if not totally, obliterate the Constitution, rewrite it to their liking, and those who don't follow the or even agree with the liberal Democrats' actions and whatnot, to where they can change at a given point that they feel that they would want to, and that they feel it would be necessary with the base of our freedoms and rights going in and have gone in the garbage at this point. Um, the basic fact is that it would be we'd have to kiss our sorry asses just to get what we want, as I've said many times before. Actually, a number of times before. Maybe not so many times before, but still. But nobody wants that. Anybody with a brain, anyways, doesn't want that. Anybody with true common sense of wanting the separation of government from the American people, in which the U.S. Constitution of We the People is separating government from the American people, as it's said to be doing. But the liberals, so the socialist liberal Democrats, starting with Nancy Pelosi, want it to be a combined thing to where there's a big government, socialism, corruption, power, and control by the socialist liberal Democrats, and which basically would mean our freedom, the American people's freedoms and rights, and American way of life is not even in existence any longer, which puts our freedoms, I mean our futures into way beyond question, and that puts our youth's future into non-existence as well. Now, do we want that as parents? Do we want that as grandparents? Do we want that as aunts and uncles? I'd say we don't. And I know we don't. So we need to do whatever possible to make sure that the socialist, liberal, idiot Democrats do not reach the White House. In their view, in the liberals' view, the golden rod of power, corruption, and control. The very rod that would be able to give them what they want and what they've strived for. Like if it's a fucking like the what like if you want to look at it in the sense of the WWE heavyweight world heavyweight champion belt, but the power and control would go way beyond what they WWE, the former WWF, gives the wrestlers when they win that damn thing. Which basically also puts our lives in question and how long we would truly live with the liberals in the White House, which would not really be very promising now, would it? No, it wouldn't. In hindsight, you could say that they want to obliterate the human race, no matter how they do it. They would do it even ever so slowly. Even the ones that do agree with them would get it. Even the ones that don't agree with them and don't like them, especially, would get it equally. In general, in accordance to the Constitution, that sort of thing can easily get the the people in the Democratic Party completely axed out once the action is taken to get them out. But the action has not been taken because nobody put anything into into fruition or into action to where the liberal Democrats, because of their sinful, illogical, unconstitutional actions, have gone to the more than question, which still puts our youth's education in question almost, if not totally. And the protection of us and the beneficial levels and aspects of and for us and our futures and our youth's future into more than questioning. No, in that sense, no, it doesn't. We'll still be hearing a lot of their bullshit because that's all they've been doing is promising shit that they know they won't keep, that they know they won't go fully into and follow into. Case in point, Obama did the same damn shit. And yet they would expect us to live with it and deal with it. But the one thing is that when Trump says he's going to do something, he will believe me. He made sure of it, didn't he? He made sure that he was going to do something that not only benefits his country but also benefits our youth and the American people, all in the same fucking base, all in one, if you want to put it in another aspect. And I know many of you are still liberal Democrat supporters and voters. That's your God given right. That's constitutional. That's your constitutional right. As an advocate, even though I don't like it, I support it. But you got to realize that all the phony, fake ass promises that the liberal Democrats give and have said even before Trump became president, there's not one they've kept, not one they've followed into logically that would benefit the American people and our youth. They masked. If it looked like they did, it's all masked, covered up. We don't want that in this country. We don't deserve that in this country. So it's better to have people like Trump in office, even for 2020. He has done more in a short amount of time than any other president has in this country's history. And he's continuing on doing it even with this fucking circus of the impeachment. When the liberals don't really have a leg to stand on when it comes to the base of impeachment. But yet again, they're still wasting taxpayers' money as they go through with it, as well as even through the Senate, as well as it did, as well as it was done in the House. So basically, I feel that I have to say this, but I don't like saying it, and I'm not going towards any basic disrespect here towards any liberal Democratic voter or nothing. But the basic fact is that you're following something that's not really there. You're supporting something that rather see you dead instead of alive, sick instead of well, and healthy and strong and more than well to do. Being that the liberal Democrats that who you support and vote for, they don't give a damn about you any longer. They don't give a damn about a good large percentage of the damn population, except for themselves and maybe their constituents. Maybe to a percentage. variable, if that. Do you want the same thing to be orchestrated not only when it comes to us and our future as adults? Do you want the same thing to be done when it comes to our youth's education and their youth's education and so on and so forth, on and on? I don't think so. And I know you don't want that. Our youth wouldn't want that. So it is my responsibility that I'm putting that I'm making this video of C.R.P.H.A. education advocate. As I mentioned, I would mention politics. And I can tell you the reason, and you can see the reason why though. It follows into the aspect of our youth's future, and besides our own future. Our troops fight and defend our Constitution and the American flag and what both of them stand for. They fight and protect in protection of our freedoms and our true American way of life. They don't have to. They never really had to, but that was their given choice now, wasn't it? Ever since the Revolutionary War, people had our people even back in those times they didn't have to, but they could have let things happen as they came, but they didn't. I did they? They defended what was right and what was more than just, and what built up the true strong levels and base of the true American way of life and the base of where our freedoms and rights have been put put more into place and put strong and stable, even in accordance to the Constitution of we the people, which is again the U.S. Constitution. The liberal Democrats want to destroy that now. They won't tell you and they won't tell you straight to your face. If you were to go right with any particular type of news media reporter and ask them that one number of fucking questions, they'd lie to your fucking face and act like it's all true in actuality. Yeah, I know many people say, "Well, politicians always lie." Really, that may have been true for a time, but ever since Trump, he's been telling the truth. The only ones that have been bullshitting the American people are the liberal socialist Democrats, from starting from Obama and Hillary and Michelle Obama and Nancy Pelosi and her constituents within the same party. So you should see now, hopefully, that it goes to show you that the only ones that truly care about this country and care about you and want to do things that benefit you, American people, and our youth, and the futures for both, are the conservative and regular Republicans. They may go about it in ways that you may not agree with. That's understandable. That's okay. But the basic fact is, eventually it forms into, and it does, and it has, even since Reagan, it has formed into something that's more than substantial at times, if not every time, practically. So we need to make sure that when it comes to when it comes to the base of education, we need to make sure that even as parents, do what is best not only for us, but most importantly, what's best for our youth. And one of which is keep on getting, in the political sense, keep on getting conservative Republicans in office of the White House, and keep conservative Republicans in the Senate, and get conservative Republicans in the House, get conservative Republicans in every state, which basically would remove the liberal idiots in California, starting with Gavin Newsom, Barbara Boxer, Nancy Pelosi, Dianne Feinstein, and others. They would get removed without question due to your vote of getting a conservative Republican in office all across the board, in every state especially, including in Washington, D.C. And inside the White House would also be a conservative Republican, if not a regular Republican. That right there, in a political sense, would keep our youth's education strong. This country's true American way of life strong. Our freedoms and rights strong and well defended and protected. The future's not only for us, even as parents, but also for our youth, strong and secure. And the future's for our children's children, strong and secure. The education, same thing, strong and secure. Now, I know this is a lot to take, and not a lot to possibly even rethink. But the basic fact is that would you rather have a society where our youth education is more than in question to the point of it being obliterated, and along with our freedoms and rights being obliterated to where we have to kiss ass in order to get what we want and what we feel that we deserve, but at times we may not get it because the liberal, socialist, Democrats are idiots anyway, and they only want corruption, money, and power anyway over our lives especially. Or would you rather have the true American way of life, where the Constitution of we the people is not affected in any way, where we're more than well defended and protected every year, every century, even in the sense of military defense, and also in the sense of keeping our rights and freedoms and American way of life more than well protected, and to where there's more possibilities for our youth, even through the educational system, where our youth would get possibly better educated than we were. Although I'm not saying we were not educated to the best of the knowledge of the time as we grew. I'm not saying that, but the basic fact is that things can be even better for our youth, and that I know that's exactly what we as parents want, isn't it? And the only way that's going to happen in a political sense is keeping the socialist liberal Democrats out of the White House and out of office in general, out of every seat in D.C., out of every seat in every state. No matter what they promised, it's not going to have. They will not pull through with it. They will not go forth with it. Obama made a whole lot of shitty promises. He never went through with it. And I do mean shitty promises because I knew he wasn't going to fucking follow through. I knew that Jerry Brown wasn't going to follow through with all his promises. Gavin Newsom made an equal amount, if not more. He hasn't done one thing positive for the state of California yet. It's been only this talk, no action. Daryl Steinberg, when it came to low income housing and housing for the homeless and education, lower cost, affordable education, even for our youth. Nothing but this. The mouth moving aspects. No action. Yes, things do take time, but they don't take a whole fucking year. They don't take a whole fucking century to the points of 2019 or 2020 for that fucking matter. Or even before those 2 years. Because it was before those 2 years is when Daryl Steinberg and fucking Gavin Newsom has promised shit, and before, and it was a number of those before those 2 years that fucking Jerry Brown and Obama promised before they were voted in office, and nothing has happened in them following through with it. So all it was just this. No action. No positive, beneficial action for the American people in any way in the state of California alone. And when it came to Obama, no positive, beneficial aspect for the American people across this country from Washington D.C. From Obama and his administration. The only positive thing that's been happening is from Trump. Even with Jerry Brown trying to put California as a sanctuary city and state status, which is against the Constitution, and Gavin Newsom hasn't lifted it. And on top of that, the liberals have been in California have been trying to separate California and make it its own country, which also goes against the Constitution. So you can see that they're only doing things to only benefit them, to give them the base of power, corruption, and control, even over us and our youth and the American way of life. They don't care about what's best for the American people. They don't care what's best for our youth. The liberal Democrats can give a flying fuck about that. Way beyond a flying fuck, actually. You may call me harsh, you may call me illogical or droll, or whatever the hell else, but why don't you take time to think back of however far, you will see that every bit of what they've said and promised and mouthed Not one has been put in fruition into an actuality. From the liberal, socialist, dumbass, dense, brain dead Democrats. But everything that's been said by Donald J. Trump put has been put into action in beneficial aspects for and to the American people and this country. And which also benefits our youth and their education along the way. And benefits us as adults in employment aspect, the financial base of the economy to start with, in support of the economy in our financial aspects instead statures as well, right? Think about that, and it would carry on for those who are working as well as going to school. Even in those who are trying to pay for tuition are able to do it now a lot more, but ever so gradually, especially in the beginning, to where your tuition is be able you're able to pay off your tuition almost before you even finish your fucking semester of classes. A lot better than you were with the way the liberals had it, while they had an idiot in the White House. Think about that. The basic fact is that the American people, you and our youth, you American people, every American person deserves the best life possible, the best future possible, and many things can be possible. More than hell, it's even many things can be more than possible. Many positive things, that is, not only for us adults and the senior citizens, but also for our youth. But in what this video is towards for our youth, in the sense of the education to start with, because education is the is what helps us become better than what we ever would ever realize and know, even within ourselves and about ourselves. You want to be better? You don't think that you're good enough if you're in your teenage, maybe a little bit younger than that, maybe a number of years younger than that. You are better. You are a good person. You can be just better, just a lot better, with as much education as you can muster, more than muster. Really. The basic fact is that I can tell you, with my education, I've learned a lot more in the real world than I have by just what's in books. Many people have different ways of doing it, but I'm not discounting I'm not discounting the base of education being the most important thing that every one of our youth needs and must get. It builds us up to be better than what we believe with even within ourselves at times, even more than at times. as the old saying went, from the late 60s to early to mid 70s, knowledge is power. True, positive, accessible knowledge is power. Not the base of what the liberal Democrats are trying to grasp. What comes up from here is power. And as long as we use it in the most logical, positive ways and manners, that would benefit not only us, but other people as well. And those who we help in the most positive, unharmful ways. To help the other person that we help become strong as well. And then when you do that for that one person, then the person eventually does it for another, and it carries on, doesn't it? And it can. It may not so quickly, but it can. So the basic fact is that we need to keep, on the political aspect, we need to keep conservative and regular Republicans in office. We need to get rid of the liberal Democrats, starting with Nancy Pelosi and many of her constituents, and kiss asses and lapdogs and minions. And her minions would be the female liberal bitches. Her lapdogs would be the asshole, brain dead dipshits in the liberal Democratic Party, to keep them out of the White House, to keep them out of office, and get more and more people like Donald J. Trump in office, in the conservative and regular Republican Party, and carry that same aspect on, state by state by state by state, all across the board, which basically would also help our youth's education and their youth's education and their youth's education become way more than stronger than ever before, which would build up more knowledge, which would build up more know-how, which would build up a whole lot of positive other aspects and things that we don't even realize even at current. We parents may not see even to this day, but we know it can happen. It goes beyond the base of believing positively. It goes beyond the base of knowing in a positive aspect and manner, even in the base of action. But it builds up as we keep on going towards the positive aspects in action as well as thought. Think about it. So I am going to say that we need to get people on the Republican and conservative Republican Party to follow the Trump administration and to keep Trump in office for another 4 years to start with, and to get another person like Trump in the same party. Even though Trump doesn't consider himself a politician, that's acceptable. But he's done more than any other president's done in either of the two parties. And in addition, we can get rid of the liberal Democrats and maybe get a green or independent party in replacement in accordance to the Constitution. So thereby there would be no more Democratic Party due to the illogical, sinful actions and unconstitutional actions done by Nancy Pelosi and her constituents, along with Jerry Brown and many others, including Gavin Newsom and Darrell Steinberg's negative, sinful, unconstitutional actions. So the basic fact is that education is the top importance for our youth as well as for ourselves. And even though a number of us adults have already graduated, doesn't mean we can't go back into school. But also, we also can educate ourselves in other ways while our youth is going to hit the books, as it were, in grade school, preschool, kindergarten, um, junior high, and high school, and colleges, universities, and whatnot. While they're doing that, we as adults and even the senior citizens can read up on things that maybe interest us, that would build up knowledge up here and know-how and all sorts of other positive things. And even if we may need to relearn things that we may have forgotten, I'm not saying we did, but there might be a particular percentage that we have and again, I'm not judging, but I'm just stating something which is a general norm, and which does happen from time to time to each and every one of us. We don't always remember and keep in mind of what we learned. That's that's okay, but we can relearn it though if we so choose. But it doesn't mean we have to go into classes for it. Now it does. We can relearn it by going to the library. Relearn it by logical sites online nowadays. And this is all while our youth are getting up early in the morning and going to school, hanging out with friends, getting to know people, becoming and gradually and slowly becoming their own person within themselves to start with our help and guidance as parents and as uncles and step parents, what have you else. Right there, that's a lot to take in, I know. It's the major amounts of importance. And as Spock from Star Trek would say, that is more than most logical. If you have any questions and if you want me to talk about anything else, please let me know in the comment section below or on our C.R.P.H.A. Education Advocate page on Facebook. This is C.R.P.H.A. Humanitarian, Disability, Business, Health, Citizen, Education Advocate. Live long and prosper and stay strong. Stay true to yourself. Stay confident and know that there's a lot of things that you can do that would also benefit others as well as yourself, as long as you do it the right way in a positive way and manner. Have a good day.